Morning, Kate here, bringing you this week's Monday mission, and this one is called the human algorithm. Okay, so you know how when you're scrolling on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and there's an ad or something pops up of something that you were just talking about, right? Like, so maybe it's shoes that you were just looking for and searching for, or maybe it's that hair dryer that you were just talking about with a friend, and all of a sudden there's an ad there for it, right? I think that's actually how I got this necklace because it kept coming up. Anyway, it works, right? That is the algorithm. That's what it's designed to do. So it studies your patterns of behavior. It studies what you like, comment on, save, click links for, and then it memorizes, right? Keeps those in the algorithm, and then it shows you things it will think you will like because of your patterns of behavior. Okay? That's how the algorithm on social media works. Our brain is the exact same way. It does the exact same thing. Okay, so it's called the reticular activating system, or RAS. Okay, you don't have to remember that, but remember this idea that our brain has its own algorithm. Okay, so what it does is filters in what it thinks it's important. Okay, and the way that it knows what something is important is because you tell it, right? You tell it by your behavior. Okay, so our brain has to process tons and tons and tons of data each day, right? It has to process a ton of information. And the way that it can make that efficient and not overwhelm our system with everything that's going on is it filters, right? The RAS filters all of this information, and it does that based on your behavior, what you have told it to look for. So the RAS is your algorithm looking for evidence or information that is about what you've decided is important. Okay, so let me explain this. So if you have told yourself for decades that you're not enough, right? Your RAS, your brain, your algorithm knows that that's an important belief that you have, right? So there's no judgment. The RAS doesn't say, well, Kate, you really shouldn't think that. That's not a nice thing to think about yourself. The RAS doesn't do that, right? The brain does not do that. The brain just says, oh, she thinks this is a belief. This is a belief of hers that she's not enough. So I'm going to let things in that prove that so she can continue to believe this thing, right? So a situation happens at work, a situation happens in a relationship, a situation happens at home, and your brain is like, oh, there's evidence. You're not enough. You're not good enough. Okay? This is what happens, right? So if you've had that for a decade, you're gonna have a lot of evidence, right? Your brain found a lot of evidence to prove that belief. Okay? If your RAS realizes that you think your husband doesn't appreciate you, then it's gonna find evidence for it. So any interaction you have about the dishes, about the kids, about doing homework with the kids, about the house, about your job, his job, whatever, in-laws, right? Any situation that you have, then your brain, your algorithm is looking for ways that he doesn't appreciate you. And then it's going to tell you that this is evidence to prove the belief that you've been thinking. Okay. Same thing with the thought, I'm so overwhelmed, right? Now, I'm not minimizing your overwhelm, right? Overwhelm is huge. It's a huge stressor. It impacts you physically. It impacts you mentally. It's, something that a lot of us experience, right? But what's happening, part of what may be happening for you is that sentence, that belief, I'm so overwhelmed, your brain is looking for evidence of that you are, right? So when something comes up at the school for the kids and you volunteer to do it, okay, your brain says, oh, there's just one more thing you have to do, one more thing on your plate. Look how overwhelmed you are, right? Now, you could have set a boundary and not did that thing, right? Realizing that you had too many other things going on, okay? You could set boundaries for yourself. You could be more aware of your energy and where your energy is spent and what energy you need to bring back in, right? After you've given it all away, how do I bring that energy back in? You're able to do that, right? You're in control of lessening your overwhelm, right? But it comes back to mindset. So if you have the belief that you're so overwhelmed, then your brain is going to be constantly looking at situations from that lens, right? From that filter, from that algorithm, right? So it's going to show you how overwhelmed you are over and over and over again, which is going to contribute to the feeling of overwhelm, right? So we think that what we say about situations, we think what our algorithm shows us are facts, right? It's a fact that we're so overwhelmed. It's a fact that my husband doesn't appreciate me because of A, B, C, and D, right? It's a fact that I'm not enough, that I'm not good enough because A, B, C, D, and E, right? It's a fact that I can't lose weight because of this, this, and this. See all this evidence that my algorithm, my brain has found and shown, right? So because we think they're facts, we don't challenge them. We just believe them. We just continue to believe them, right? Because we have all this evidence to prove that it is, in fact, true, absolute truth, right? So what do we do about it? We have to interrupt the thought pattern, right? So we have to recognize that it's happening. We have to be like, oh, this is my brain telling me this, right? And challenge it, right? Instead of thinking, that's fact, yep, I'm not enough, challenge it. Well, is that true? Is that really true? Because what about A, B, C, D over here that says that I am enough, right? Or my husband doesn't appreciate me. When you keep having that thought, the best way to know that this is a pattern for you is that you have the thought over and over again, right? So if you keep having the thought, my husband doesn't appreciate me, you have to interrupt it. Oh, I know what your brain's doing. It's the algorithm. It's not fact. And two, what are ways to challenge it? What are the ways that shows that he actually does appreciate me? Or have I communicated that I feel unappreciated, right? And need to have that conversation, okay? Again, it's all data, as I say with everything, but it's so important to be aware of that your brain just works the way that it was designed to. It does not have, just like the algorithm, it doesn't care that you don't have the money to buy the pair of shoes that it keeps showing you, right? It's just going to keep showing you them because at some point you showed them that you like shoes, this certain kind of shoe, right? So your brain is the same way. It has no judgment around it. If you tell it that you're not enough over and over again, it's going to believe you and it's going to look for evidence of it. Okay, so you have to override the algorithm that is going on and just is automatic at this point, right? So that's our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to interrupt and challenge the algorithm. Being aware of the thought patterns that you're having, what keeps coming up for you, what is a pattern, and then challenging it, interrupting it, and challenging it. So that's our mission. And then last week, I started a new thing where I'm adding a journal prompt for each of our missions so that you could take the opportunity to journal about the topic, the theme that we have for the week. And so you could just do this in the notes on your phone, right? You don't have to write in a pretty journal because that always prevented me from journaling. My perfectionism is that if I didn't write a word correctly and had to erase it, I would literally rip the page out and start over. And it became more of a stressor for me to journal than to get the benefits of it. So it can be in the notes in your phone. It can be on a sticky note. Whatever works for you. But the journal prompt for this week is a thought I believe is a fact is, okay, and then fill in the blank. A thought I believe is a fact is, whether I'm not enough, my husband doesn't appreciate me, whatever it is, okay? I can never lose weight, okay? My body's disgusting. Whatever thought you're having that your brain keeps telling you is a fact, write it down, and then we can go from there. We can recognize when it's coming up, we can interrupt it, and we can challenge it. Okay, so I would love to hear from you. If you're willing to share your journal prompt, what comes up for you when you write and respond to that prompt. I would love to process that with you. If you are willing to share your heart with me, I would be more than honored to do that with you. So as always, share with me what comes up, and that's your mission, is to recognize your algorithm, interrupt it, challenge it, and see if you can change that thought and we can create a new pattern. All right. So I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.